Good afternoon. Welcome to the tea table. I am so happy you have joined me today. And yes, it's a wonderful day when you need your sunglasses. Yes. Well, if you haven't gotten your tea yet, please get your tea and I'll be waiting for you. Push the pause. Well, today we're out on the deck and I am wearing something really special. This is a gift I received. A handmade silver called Starlight shawl from one of my darling little Tea Talk girls named Rose. Thank you, Rose. I absolutely love this. I thought I have to wear this today on the deck because it's the perfect summer little shawl that can go over. If I get warm, I could take it off. But I have a little breeze out here. And if you can see behind me, the tide is way out. And we are listening to the Brook Violin Concerto that Itzhak Perelman is playing. I'll turn it up just a touch. It's one of those gorgeous violin concertos. Max Bruch wrote this, and it is not an easy concerto to play. My daughter played this, and it goes all over the violin from top to bottom. Yes. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. Well, last week my lighting was quite poor and I'm hoping it's better today, but I wanted to be outside. And I'll tell you, I think what happened is we have some trees in our yard that have been going wild. We have to take out. Someone threw some cherry seeds off the deck a few years back, and do you know now there's a cherry tree down there growing? And it's going to block our view, so we have to take them out. But I'm waiting for someone to come and do that. I have sons that are all able, but they're also busy working. They will come, and by the 4th of July, we'll give a haircut to the yard. That's what it needs, a good haircut. Well, I think I'm going to move this just a little closer, and I think maybe this is better lighting. And, well, I created an outfit for this shawl, and it's so beautiful. It has sparkly silver, and it's crocheted, and Rose found the wool in the oldest woolen company in America that still creates wool in New York. And it's called Lion's Gate wool. Isn't it beautiful? And she sent me a beautiful verse that I wanted to read to you, but it is about that we will shine as stars with him someday. Beautiful. And in the summer, we can see the stars so clear at night. You know, the different hemispheres have different opportunities. I remember going to California, and my husband, we were at the beach, and he said, it was night. He said, you can see things here that you can't see in Washington State. The Big Dipper was much closer, and many constellations because they're going around. And I've tried to study the stars, but it's difficult to get a full grasp. However, I did learn that, we know that the heavens are expanding. And so in the Bible times, the stars, and in the Middle East, where there is no trees in the desert, you have an unobstructed view in the night to look up. And they were able to see all the constellations with the naked eye. Isn't that amazing? And we have, mountains here, we have trees, we have cloudy skies. We don't have that clear weather, so we don't have that advantage. But, so I went through and found silver. I'll show you what I have, a necklace here that I thought, Rose, this looks just like your shawl. So that's what I like to do. I just go to my closet and create an outfit. I've done that since I was really little. I think it's fun to use what you already have and put things together. And so let me show you what I brought for our tea tray. It's little. It's a little pot, very little, sweet, a little creamer, sweet, and one of my favorite cups in all the world. Yes, I'm going to show you this cup. And I'll turn this down just a bit. It's hard to adjust the sound. When the full orchestra comes in, it gets so loud. And that's what a concerto is. A concerto is a solo instrument with playing with an orchestra. So, this is the cup I love. And do you know what it's called? It's English, of course, and it's called the White Cliffs of Dover. Isn't it fabulous? And it is, let me get my glasses on here, and I'm going to tell you that China, because it's vintage, Paragon, Cliffs of Dover, Queen Mary. It's very old and very lovely. I found this at a thrift shop. I only have one, but you can look it up, and White Cliffs of Dover. I think it's perfect for the celebration of V-Day, because the White Cliffs of Dover played a very important part. When the British returned to England, whether it's on a trip, whether it was escaping communism, escaping Nazism, escaping the soldiers coming back, just people coming back, when the British see the White Cliffs of Dover, it's hope. It's England, the land of the free, home of the brave. Yes. Beautiful England. I love England. So here we go. Let's pour out. And this tea is one of my favorite teas. And I'm going to show you where I keep it. It's very British. It is from Murchie's, and it's the Empress Afternoon Tea. And I keep it in this wonderful old vintage tin. And that would be Queen Elizabeth when she was young, Prince Philip when he was young, the royal symbol, the cobalt blue, the crown. They thought of everything. Oh my goodness, they thought of everything. And it's actually a biscuit holder, but I use it for my tea, because the secret of keeping tea is keeping it sealed tight, airtight, and it will last literally for years. Well, let's have a little splash of milk today. I made this tea quite brisk, which means quite strong. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tea outside. For the first time in a long time, I took off my Baltic Amber. I've worn it for years now, the last year. And I put on some sparkles to go with the sparkles. And this ring I thought you would find interesting. It's from Israel. And I believe it's an Alexandrite stone. It's a very lovely ring. Well, are we going to have a treat? Yes, we are. It's very little, but it's in my other little box. I love these little boxes because this keeps my little cookie treat. Oh boy, there's only 2 left. One for you, one for me. We're gonna go light today. There it is. It's a biscotti with cranberries and pecan. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful little treat for the tea. It's perfect. I always feel healthy when I eat a biscotti, and I put this little napkin on. I love these little napkins. So let me show you again the little tea tray. Oh boy, you know, I have to turn this up for just a minute because this is the really beautiful part. I'm going to just put it back a little bit. This is the beautiful. Oh, so much heart, so much love. Isn't this just darling, this little wrap? And it's handmade. And that's what I want to talk about today, that someone made something handmade for me. I will treasure it always. And handmade is the best if you can do it. I am not a knitter or a crocheter. I never learned. My daughters both know how. Thank God for that. But I think it's a wonderful art. Now, this week I had several very special magazines come to me in my mail. And I think many of you probably know about these and get them. One is Tea Time and one is Victoria. Well, they're different enough that both of them are lovely. And these were particularly beautiful issues. And you can sign up for these. They're very reasonable and they come every 2 months. And the Tea Time is the annual beautiful British issue. And they go to tea rooms all over England. And you learn so much. I learned something I did not know. That in the Savoy tea room, they serve for each course a different tea. Now that's involved. If you were having your own tea party, it's hard enough just getting a teapot for everyone and enough tea flowing. But to do a different kind at each stage of the tea party, we would need a servant or a little helper. Yes, we would. Now, this is also one of the most beautiful Victoria magazines, and it is talking about all the East Coast of America tea rooms. I learned a lot. They have a lot there. And they were emphasizing blue and white for the flowers. And I found that so interesting because I have on my front porch blue and white pots. This is an azalea that is in a beautiful Dutch pot. Let's see if I can hold it over to show you. See, it's just so, I received this azalea for Mother's Day. I'm going to plant it, but I just love blue and white pots also. And they went through and they showed so many varieties. And then this is a pot that, oh boy, it's heavy. I love this pot. This is Dutch, made in Holland. And I have a geranium, and I always have a geranium in this on my front porch. And my geraniums are so hardy. For the Pacific Northwest, I really believe, let's see, I can put that there, and you can see a little bit of it. But this little shawl is just, isn't it darling? Sparkly and cozy. Well, and then I found a book, and I thought, I have to take this to the tea table. This is produced by a company in Seattle that I think still exists, and they're called Blue Lantern Publishers. They have some of the most beautiful books. They do a lot of reproduction children's books, and they did, in the past, I've had greeting cards from Blue Lantern Press. Blue Lantern Studio, Seattle. Now this book is from 1992, but it's called This Is My Wish for You. But I looked it up and they're still available. And look at the front page. Look at the art. It's just so beautiful, so captivating. And it's just the sweetest book. And that the spirit of beauty may continually hover about you and fold you close within the tenderness of her wings. Isn't that beautiful? They have collected beautiful sayings. And then this is one, that the last one is, "This is my wish for you," and it has a girl playing a flute. And that reminds me of a dear friend of mine, and that's a very faithful tea girl, Jamie, who plays the flute all over Seattle. Isn't that fun? And the girl has curls, like Jamie. And then it says, "The glories of song," and they have beautiful art. The whole book is just enchanting. And I looked online, you can order this. It wasn't very much. I mean, what they've done is just created the most exquisite and the most positive words. Here's the glories of the mountains. It's just for you. And the oceans. And then it must be like a poem. And the little streams of running water. Isn't that sweet? That's June. We have entered June, and I wrote a poem this week for June, but my problem is my poem is on my phone, and I'm using my phone to record this. So I need to make a hard copy. I write my songs and my poetry now on my phone. And it is really interesting because I can keep track. However, I need to make hard copies. So I need to email it to myself and print. Yes, the next step. I don't want this all faded out. I hope you can see. I don't know what's happening with out here, but I love being out here with you, and I hope it's pretty good. There's more flowers. Well, it is just a glorious June day, and I hope you're having a good week. I've had my grandkids here, and it's been busy, busy, busy. They're working with my sons. They're hard workers. One is 18 and one is 16, and I mean, they're holding their own, and this is physical work. And my son took them yesterday to Linwood for a huge demolition job, and he said everyone was just saying, "I've never seen young men work like this." So 3 cheers for Ezra and Aliyah Sandwire. They worked hard, and this is the best thing kids can do, and earn their money, and then they will take care of their money. When you work hard for your money, you take care of your money. And I notice they're very frugal and wise. Well, isn't this just a sweet little trait? This is very light today. I can just pick it up. It's a light little pot and a light cup and a light little creamer. I like this. This is perfect to serve a guest. You have a guest come unexpectedly to your door. I know a lady who always has a little tea tray ready for a guest. And all she has to do is boil the water, put in the tea, and it's all set up to go. Isn't that nice? Yes. Well, I also wanted to tell a little something. In my poem for June, I used The Barber of Seville. Well, I looked it up, and Rossini wrote that. It's an opera. Do you know how old he was when he wrote that? He was 23 years old. Of course, his mother was an opera singer. His father was a French horn player, and so he had always used a lot of beautiful brass and flutes in his operas and in his works. But a lot of people didn't take Rossini seriously. His things were so fun, and it was such a natural gift, they just sort of took it as, they didn't really honor him until later in his life. And this is what happens often with really talented people that have skills and gifts. It's so natural to them, and they make it so fun. People don't take it seriously. But he was a master, and his operas are some of the greatest in all the world. Yes, lots of heart. Yes, so many good composers. In order to write good music, your ear has to hear good music. He was obviously hearing good music his whole life. You know, Pavarotti's father was an amateur singer, and his grandfather, they sang in the church. Beautiful Italian tenors. That went in his ear, and he was hearing music all around him. And that's why we need to listen to good music. We need to read good poetry. We need to read good books, and it helps our skills in writing. Yes, it does. I feel like I became a much better speller in my adult life than I was as a young person, and it was because of all the reading I started doing. I became a real reader in research reading and lots of reading with my kids when I homeschooled them, and I was just reading all the time, and all of a sudden I became almost a perfect speller, which I was not when I was young. My brothers were better than me, and they used to laugh at me because one time I said, now how do you spell the name forest or the forest in the wooded forest? And they thought that was so funny. They laughed at me. But, you know, it is, English language is tricky, isn't it? Yes. Well, I wish all of you had a White Cliffs of Dover cup. Sometimes it's worth it just to have one cup. Some people want the whole set. Not necessary. Enjoy one beautiful cup. I have a friend who she saw this and she went out and she found one. They're around. You have to have eyes to see. That's what an artist is. Eyes to see. Eyes to find the treasure. Yes. My dear friend Dawn Jarvis had so much faith. She was she had faith. And she said to me one day, you know, she used to go to the estate sales, garage sales, and thrifting way back. And her house was filled with the most beautiful antiques I've ever seen. She was an artist on every level. She's the one that built a little castle in her garden, a real castle for the children to play. My children played in her castle. She had dress-up outfits, and it was just so darling in the middle of this gorgeous English flower garden. Well, Dawn told me once, she said, I never worry if I'm late to a garage sale or an estate sale. I don't feel any pressure at all because, she said, I pray, and if there's something there for me, God saves it. And she said so many times at the end of a sale, she'll go to the back, hiding under a table or a chair, she pulls something out, some beautiful piece, and it was for her. It was meant to be. And I really believe that if we walk in faith, that is how life is. We don't have to be panicked. We don't have to think we're missing it or worry. Take time. Do the next right thing. Help as many people as you can on the road. And don't rush. The secret of being a master in every field is getting rid of the pressure. No pressure. My children, I have two sons, Nat and Michael, who studied cello with a brilliant cellist. Her name was True Sacrison. She was the best of the best. Beautiful lady. And she was true to her name. She was so pure in heart. I remember my husband took the boys once, and he's a bass player, and she said, I've been thinking all night, how can I make it easy to tune the bass? And she came up with a plan. She was brilliant. She had studied at Curtis School of Music, which in her day was greater than Juilliard. It was the #1 music school of America. And they only chose 2 people a year to become like cellists. And she got it. And guess who her stand partner was? True story. Leonard Rose, the great cellist. That's how good True was. Okay, do you know what True's main thing was when my boys went? I think Nathaniel was in 3rd grade and Michael was like in 6th grade. And she put the bow in their hand. They had had some cello lessons. Michael had actually started at 3 with the Suzuki program in Tacoma. She took his hand, put it the bow, and she said, relax, relax, relax. Get all the pressure out of the bow. Take all the pressure out of the bow. And she would tell them that every lesson. Finally, they were drawing and getting the most beautiful tone on their cello. And I thought to myself, that can apply to every area of life. Whether it's baking a cake, whether it's baking a pie, whether it's cleaning your house, whether it's making a bed, whether it's crocheting, whether it is writing a song. Take the pressure out. And when you're around a master, I have been privileged to know some truly great artists. And I will say they all have that characteristic. There is a piece about them. They may be high-strung. Oh my, a branch just fell. They may be demanding. But they're not nervous. They have an inner peace. You can take this to the bank. They move. My husband always says the goal is be inwardly directed. He used to tell that to my kids, our kids. Be inwardly directed. Don't let the outside crush you. Inwardly directed is what a master is. It's moving in peace. It's getting all the pressure out. Don't let anyone put you under pressure or take your joy. Don't let anyone push you to be something you're not. Find out who you are and live. And that's the key to life. That's the key to true peace. And that is God's will. Because in the Bible, it says, it's over and over again, fear not. Shalom. Peace I give to you. Fear not. It is not your works that have made it happen. It's letting God love you. Letting God bless you. Letting God heal you. Letting go. And the rest will be history. You will do great things. I believe there are people on the tea table that are meant to do incredible things in this world right now. Don't worry about the voices. The little news reports, that's like 1% of the population. They take one story and they beat it to death. What about all the good stories? What about all the good people that you know and all the fun things that you're doing and the great things that are happening? Let's live there. Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And if you can't find a White Cliffs of Dover cup, maybe you can find another cup that is just as beautiful. There are so many floating around. Yes, there are. This is a time to pick up a nice china cup. They are available. Well, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Push the notification bell And if you liked it, the like, and share with others. And thank you so much for your comments. I love your comments. I really treasure them. Thank you so much. So feel free to comment or even ask a question. Or if there's something you would like me to cover on the tea table, I'd be happy to make my best effort for you. Well, thanks again. Have a fabulous weekend, a fabulous week. God bless you, and take all the pressure out. Let it all go. And the rest will be history. God bless, and I look forward to seeing you next time.